How often do we truly notice what lies right in front of us, yet remains unseen? And how many challenges exist simply because the world was not designed with everyone in mind?
Our first speaker reminds us that inclusion is not about treating everyone the same, but about recognizing differences that often go unnoticed.
A grade 10 student with a passion for biology, medicine, and building a more inclusive world, FREYA Prajapati draws inspiration from personal experiences that reshape the way she understands inclusion and empathy.
In her talk, The Students We Don't See, Color Blindness and Rethinking Inclusion, she invites us to rethink what it truly means to notice, understand, and create meaningful change.
Please join us in welcoming our first speaker for today, FREYA Prajapati.
FREYA, the stage is yours.
Good morning. Take a moment and look at this picture. Now, you might feel like this is something really easy to see, right? But here's the reality. Not everyone can see the number in the image. My own brother couldn't, and for years, he didn't even know that he was viewing the world differently. Hi, I'm Freya, and my elder brother grew up struggling in school. He would mix up colors in art, struggle with lab experiments, and even make small mistakes, which wouldn't make sense to others. And it wasn't until grade 4 that he was finally diagnosed with color blindness. Suddenly, everything started making sense. It wasn't a lack of effort, but a difference in perception. And that's when I started to wonder, how many other students are currently struggling? Because of a reason they know nothing about. And according to WHO data, 1 in 12 boys and 1 in 200 girls live with color vision deficiency. This means that in every single classroom, there is at least one child who is trying their absolute best but still falling behind. So what do? We label them careless, distracted, not serious. And slowly, these labels stop being feedback. They become their identity. And I have seen this closely through my work in Aiding Colors, where we screened over 10,000 students and identified 130 positive students. But still, none of the parents or teachers knew about this condition. Students were memorizing instead of understanding. They were guessing instead of seeing and adjusting silently just to get by. And this is where the deeper problem begins. Because colorblindness doesn't only affect academics, it affects their everyday life and even mental well-being. Because those things that seem simple to most of us become challenging for them. Like imagine you're driving down the road and you are at a traffic signal. But instead of knowing when to go and when to stop, you are confused. And you're guessing whether the light that you see is the correct one. You're guessing that if the green light is actually green or not. And this is just one of the problems. And slowly, this starts affecting how the student feels. The student may start feeling embarrassed. They may start feeling excluded. And they may become hesitant to participate. And over time, this even affects their confidence and self-esteem. But this isn't even the real impact. The real impact appears much later in careers. In India, many government jobs, including sectors like Indian Railway, Indian Army, security, and even technical roles, require a strict color vision test. But students aren't informed about this. They aren't guided. So they spend years preparing for a role only to realize at the very end that the job was never meant for them. And this is not just a fact. It's the reality. And for this, I would like to show you a video. This video is about Harshil Dave, a colorblind individual who had the dream of going into the Indian Railways. But he was disqualified, not because he lacked the talent or ability, but because he was colorblind. So here's the video.
મારી જે बताया कॉलेज સુધી પહોંચીને એમને કરિયર ચેન્જ કરવું પડે એના કરતાં જો ફર્સ્ટ સ્ટેન્ડર્ડ થી એને ખબર પડી જાય તો એને કરિયર અચીવ કરવા માટે એને સારો પાથ મળી જાય.
And he is right, because early screening is the first step towards inclusion, and it can prevent years of hard work towards the wrong direction. And currently, there isn't even a cure for color blindness. Colorblind glasses do exist, but they only enhance contrast. They cannot show a color which was never seen. So this isn't something which we can fix later. It is something we must recognize earlier. But to be fair, change is being made with India's Rights of Persons with Disability Act 2016. There have also been major key developments like allowing mild colorblind individuals to get a driving license. And even public services are now being improved with better color contrast. But the gap, it's still undeniable. Because invisible disabilities are still not even recognized in everyday career and education systems. So students aren't really supported. But on the other hand, when we look globally, change is being made. Countries like United States, United Kingdom, and even Australia have taken it a step further by implementing early screening and classroom accommodations. So, the question is, why are we identifying students so late when we could be guiding them early? Especially because the solutions are quite simple. First is early screening, because identifying students early can prevent years of self-doubt and underconfidence. Second is classroom accommodations. For this, students or teachers don't need to rebuild the entire system. They just need to make small changes, like including labels, providing clear guidance, and preventing the use of colors. Because when teaching becomes inclusive, learning becomes accessible. The third solution is fair assessments. Exams are meant to test a student's knowledge, not their color perception. So high contrast papers, labeled diagrams, and a little extra time can make these evaluations truly fair. The fourth solution is psychological support. We must create an environment where students feel safe, they feel comfortable to share their feelings. Because when we normalize colorblindness, we remove the stigma. And when we remove the stigma, we improve their self-confidence. And the fifth solution is career guidance. We must provide students with their future pathways early in life, not to limit them, but to guide them towards opportunities where they can truly excel. Because the final goal, it's not restriction. It is redirection towards success. And this is exactly where we must rethink inclusion. Because inclusion is not about treating everyone the same. It is about recognizing that not everyone views the world in the same way. And when we shift this thinking, we change everything. So, the next time you see a child struggle, pause, look again. Maybe they're not failing the system. Maybe the system is failing to see them. And when we choose to see them, we change their futures. Thank you.